Oh boy. Here's a contentious topic that definitely won't ruffle any feathers whatsoever. I have a serious problem with the way that people set up their gear. You see, a lot of people, they look at this, they want to know every single intricate detail about how I set my stuff up because they want to, they like the way that I work and they want to work just like me. And I think that's entirely missing the point of gear setup as a concept, because all of this was designed so that you can set up your gear the way it works for you. And I've found a setup that works for me, and I'll be sharing that with you in the next couple of episodes. However, my setup is tailor-made for me. There's a reason that everything is modular and that Mali exists. Like, if there was one right way of doing things, every single plate carrier would be issued with the same pouches in the same places, with the same, fucking radio, wing, whatever the hell's. But there isn't one right way of doing things. Like, sure, you can take influence, but everything that you do with your gear should be tailored to you and the way that you play. You should never be copying anything anybody does to the letter. You can take inspiration. You can say, hey, I like the way he sets that up. I wonder how that would work in my setup. But again, it's your setup. Do not copy my setup. My setup will not work for most people because I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of heavy. And I lug everything around everywhere because I'm a back panel chud and I don't like backpacks. I abuse this shit out of my body. I have multiple joints that are currently on their way out, and I'm 18 years old. It's a problem. I just take advantage of the conditioning that wrestling gave me before I went into airsoft. It kind of sucks to lug this around everywhere, but I'll be totally honest. It works for me because I have that conditioning. And I wanted to get to another point about training your gear, actually train and, work your asses off and work yourself to the point of exhaustion. Not at milsims necessarily, because that's just going to suck. They're 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours long. But, find your own time to, move around with heavy shit on, run with heavy shit on. You got to ruck, obviously not all at once. I'm not telling you to go out there, load up your backpack with 60 fucking pounds and just go out there and trek and, pass out on the side of the road. Obviously, that's just not conducive to success. What I am telling you to do is slowly start introducing workouts. Because, as cool as kits can look, and as cool as you can look wearing them, potentially, you don't want to end up, spending all this time focusing on, my gear has to be this perfect and this and that and that. And, you can't ruck, a mile in your gear. Or even worse, you can't sprint 100 meters in your gear. I'm talking too much shit. I'm going to make a lot of people mad. Let's start with the plate carrier here. I have a dual radio setup because more often than not, I end up in a command role. And the thing with dual radios is you sort of need it because you need to be able to communicate with any sort of squad net or anybody you're commanding, and then you need to be able to communicate with command net or anybody, or platoon net, or anybody above you. And even if you're not originally in that position, sometimes you'll end up in that position, which is why sometimes what I'll do is I'll just keep my squad radio on at all times, and then I'll flip on my command radio if I end up going into a command position. Because anybody who's played airsoft before knows that the original command structure just doesn't stay as it was intended to be. Because commanders go down, people QRF, squads break up and reform together, and you're going to want somebody that has the capacity to communicate up and down at the same time. But also, if one of the radios goes down, I have a second one that I can just flip onto whichever channel I need. So, you might have noticed, I don't run my antennas on the radios up front. I actually have these cables, which I route all the way through here to the back of my plate carrier. I'll do a close-up later, but essentially, I have antenna relocating cables that allow me to relocate those onto my back panel and just get the antenna bulk out of my way. Additionally, my PTTs right here, I have two separate PTTs. I have one for each radio, obviously, but one of them right here connects up to my headset, and then this guy right here is an external PTT. The reason I like to do this is because I like to differentiate between SquadNet and whatever's above me, just from like the way that it sounds. And additionally, the rest of your squad can hear what's coming out of this PTT, which I love. And additionally, added bonus, if you're a YouTuber or whatever, you do all that YouTube shit, you can hear it on the GoPro, which is admittedly a bonus, but you know, you don't want to fucking center your play style around YouTube. I try not to. I try to, like, my YouTube videos, I really try my best to keep it airsoft centered and not like video centered. Like, I know like a lot of guys like Navrich, they'll roll with like 5 different fucking cameras, which is just like insane to me. So let's talk about mags. You know, pretty important. Some people go overkill. Me personally, I love to go overkill. There's a clip of me out there saying I love to use as many mags as possible to make them make more rules for me. I only do 3 on the placard, which might surprise some people because, you know, you want to stack up. A lot of people want to stack up like 5 or 6. You might notice that the front of my plate carrier is pretty slim, and that's because I go prone quite a bit. I'm a tryhard. So if you're anticipating going prone at all, I would keep the front of your plate carrier as slick as possible. I have these elastic pouches right here. In here, I keep a compass for land navigation. And in the other one, I usually just keep a Cliff Bar. So then you might notice right here, I have a smoke pouch. And I only have one smoke pouch up front that's usually accessible to me. And I have the rest of them here on my back panel. So the advantage of this is you have one smoke ready for when you need it, and you just keep the rest of them out of the way. Like, people will get into this whole debate about back panel versus backpack. I'm more of a back panel guy personally, but if I'm gonna do any larger scale milsim events, anything you're doing overnight, you're gonna want to pack. Yeah, I wanted to get to my back panel. You'll notice here, I do have a GP pouch over here. That's for nods for overnight events. I'll take that off if it's just like a monthly milsim or something. But for the actual back panel itself, I have the 6 panel up here. I'll usually run 5 smokes and then a utility item, or I'll run 4 smokes and I'll keep one of these for bangers. I'll also keep like a 5-hour energy in there, depending on the event. Like if it's a longer event, like a 419 or something, or it's like 12 hours, you're not getting much sleep. You're gonna like 5-hour energy is just nice to keep in there. I wanted to get to my GP pouch. There's a lot to go over in the GP pouch, so brace yourselves. But before we get to that, we have this double mag pouch back here, which you can also fit an Odin in, depending on who's carrying the Odin in your squad. I like to have 2 Odins in the squad because more than that is overkill, and less than that is just asking for disaster to come in and fuck your day up. But as for the GP pouch right here, I'll just fucking lay it out on the table. Batteries and electronics. You keep that in a plastic bag. Ranger cord. Scissors. I have a whole lot of tools. Hex wrenches. Fucking Allen keys. This is really cool because I have a screwdriver that screws into the bottom of a hammer and acts as the handle. And this is like a multi-use screwdriver because it's like multiple different sizes. That's like a Russian doll. That's really cool. And then obviously the lighter. It's really helpful with the Ranger cord and anything else that needs a lighter. Don't light grenades with the Mazzulu. Again, Dave, I'm sorry. I've broken enough rules at your place. I'm. But as for batteries, I just like to keep a couple of spare, like AA's, AAA's, CR123s, and then a couple of spare like AEG batteries, and then also the batteries for my GoPro, which I don't know what order I'm gonna do this in. I'll figure it out. And this plate carrier's shoulder pads are awesome because what I have here is I have like structural shoulder pads right here, and then I have added padding underneath it. So this helps with load bearing, and then this just like makes it a little easier. Helmet. It's pretty sexy, isn't it? I'll have my GoPro up front, and then I'll have this USB cable running to the back right here, and usually I'll fill this counterweight pouch with just like one of these teeny tiny little batteries, and I'll have like multiple of them in this GP pouch on my back panel. I can just swap them out whenever they die, which is, oh my fucking god, these flies, I'm gonna fucking kill something. Definitely run Ear Pro, because shit goes boom, and it's nice for comms and stuff. You can get like some Earmore like knockoffs or something like that on Amazon for like $50. It ain't that bad. But as far as helmet setups go, for nods at least, so here's the helmet setup with the nods. Basically, long story short, battery's back here. I have the cable. I'm so sweaty. It's insane. Hang on. Oh, fuck's sake. Ugh. Essentially, your design philosophy with a helmet is to make sure that it's as balanced as it possibly can be. And it looks really cool. So, you know, you got the nods up front, and that's generally going to be weighing you down. And so that's why I have my counterweight pouch back here, which I can take my counterweights out whenever I want. And then I have the battery pack back here, which is just going to add some weight on the back, which is just sometimes nice. What you're going to want to do with anything you throw on your helmet, besides maybe like the counterweight pouch, is try and weave it into your helmet cover. Always run a helmet cover. Always. They're so cheap. Like, you can buy a really good one on Amazon for like $12. There's no reason not to run a helmet cover. They look so sexy and they help so much. You got to run your silly morale patches. Beam by Monkey Squad. And then, you know, just whatever cables you're not using at the time. Like, I'll switch my stuff day or night between like GoPro and night vision. Just like I'll coil up my cables in the bungee cord up there. And here's the other thing. This is my mouth protection. It's quite unique. You've seen it around. This is my favorite way to run mouth protection because it stays, get this fucking night vision out of the way. Stays out of the way as much as possible. Best part about it is it Velcros. So I can just pull this off and like throw it in a pocket if I don't want it, which I'm never not going to want it, but I can also just unclip the fucking buckle and it just dangles and it holds it for me, which like you always want your gear to hold shit for you when you don't need it. That's why my compass is on a lanyard. That's why, you know, this is just like is on Velcro and like buckles away when I'm not in combat. Because you're going to unbuckle your helmet anyways throughout the day just to cool off. Also, passive cooling on the Comtacs, amazing. I cannot stress enough how amazing the 3M mounts are. Oh my fucking god. If you are running your Ear Pro just under your helmet and you're running a fucking helmet over that shit, oh my god, you must be suicidal. Like, there's no fucking way. Please just do yourself a favor and get these fucking mounts. Like, or a knockoff even. Like, whatever the fuck. Just please do yourself a favor. Get this. You just pop them out when you're not fighting. It's passive cooling. It's free money. Take the free money. What I did for this was I sewed a patch of Velcro on here. These aren't that difficult to replace if you really want to. Like, you can always just, you know, undo a couple of screws and then put in a new one. They're not that expensive. This is cheap. I want to reiterate, like, make shit that works for you. The whole fucking point of this is to make shit work for you. Like, make shit custom. Like, you're fucking crafty motherfuckers. I know half of you guys, like, will fucking design your own guns and shit. Like, goddamn, Sonny and Bogdan are working on their own fucking gun system. Like, I mean, we're building our own, like, man-at radios and shit. Like, airsoft people are some of the craftiest people I know. There's no excuse not to do some MacGyver shit, because that's, like, the only way to set up your gear. The belts. I like to run a very minimal belt. I like to keep my hips very mobile. I have run heavier belts in the past. I've run sidearms in the past. I'm really not a fan, and I'll honestly, if I have a heavy belt, I'll end up just ditching it, which honestly you just never want, because, you know, you spend money on a battle belt, you want to run your fucking battle belt. And battle belts are really cool, and they look sick. And dump pouches are nice to have. So I keep a dump pouch back here. Let me get the orientation down first. The buckle's down there. Dump pouch, mag left, mag right, carabiner for the gloves, and then, you know, maybe like a smoke pouch or something else down there, depending on what you need it for. I run it very light. This is like, I could play hula hoop with this fucking thing. It's light as hell by design, because I hate heavy belts. Again, I'll explain this in like 2 seconds. It weighs down your hips. I like the weight off my hips personally, because I run a lot. Depends what your play style is, obviously. Base your fucking gear off of your play style. Guys, this right here is the fucking thingamabob. Your mindset when setting up your rifle, it's got to be like a mixture of aura. Don't get me wrong, aura's cool. But you got to like have some practicality baked into it. My design process with this was basically, I wanted to be able to have both the vertical ability and C-clamp with like the hand stop right here. And I also wanted to be able to sort of angle foregrip it. With all those positions, I can still reach my pressure pad right here. I do something really cool with my rifles, where what I'll do is I will wrap sort of the foregrip section in this camo tape, this grip wrap, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I had this one thing happen at a mil sim. Might have been May or April. It was April. The screws had backed out so much that the light was literally wobbling, and it was held on by this grip tape right here. So, guys, it works. It actually works. I promise. The PEC is mostly for show, because, I mean, realistically, I'm not going to be able to use it because it's not necessarily eye safe. Like, it is technically eye safe, but not for airsoft events because of liability and whatnot. So, yeah, obviously I don't use it at the field, except for the illuminator. The illuminator is cool. Sling, probably one of the most important parts of your rifle. This is where you're going to be holding your rifle the majority of the time. Slung right over here like this. So I have this beautiful Magpul padded sling, and I love the shit out of it. Basically, adding some padding to your sling is just a game changer if you haven't done it before. Because, you know, your plate carrier is going to dig into your shoulders enough already, which this is really nice because, whatever, it just sits so comfortably. And then you can always, you know, it's just always right here. 2-point sling, only way to go, my opinion. You can just bring your optic up to your eyes. I did want to talk about optics. I just had an EOTech laying around. But the magnifier, I promise you, is fake. Basically, my optic setup is just an EOTech with a 5x magnifier with a flip to center mount that I got off Amazon. It's pretty great. It's right on one of my real steel. So, what's so great about this Unity mount right here is that it has a QD. So you can just pop this right off, and you're all set for night vision. And, you know, you can just pop that in your night vision pouch when your night vision's not in there with your GoPro and whatever else. It just folds away, pops up when you need it. So, again, there's not much to your rifle setup. You just got to find out what works for you. And I know that's such like a non-answer. It's been my non-answer for fucking everything so far. But, like, experiment, dude. Figure out what works best for you. This works great for me. Might not work great for you. Figure it out. You people are smart. Alright? Don't let people deny it. I know you pretend sometimes. You're like, oh, we're just dumb, stupid LARPers. But no. LARPing is serious business, guys. And, squirrel. Long story short, it's really hot. I want to get inside and shower. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the series. I filmed it all in like an hour and a half. Editing is going to be a pain in the ass because I jumped around everywhere. Like, literally jumped around on everything you could possibly imagine. So, yeah, Um, subscribe or whatever, or just don't leave me. Love you guys. Toodles.